And we're over.
And we're live. Welcome to another edition of Notorious DMG, where we are back for the second session of Zweihander with our heroes? Question mark? I don't know what to call you guys. You're not really heroes.
Yeah, I'm not much of a hero yet.
Peasants?
Yeah.
I don't know what you are.
Vagabonds.
Vagabonds.
Yeah.
Word.
And urchins who are leeching off of Sandow, some of you. But we're back with the second session. Let's do a quick character rundown. No, forget it. You can go back and watch the first one. We don't need to do a character rundown. Let's do a recap of what happened last week. Do you want me to do it, or do you guys want to do it?
You do it, and we can add flavor.
Okay, so you guys were in the village, well, hamlet. I don't know if it's really a village. Little stop point of Swansea. There was a wedding that was taking place that day. You guys were mistaken for guests. It was the marriage of Maximilian Steger and Helena Rafke. I made something for you guys between last session because I realized there's a lot of players to this game, and I didn't do this with the last group, but
Ooh.
I built this for you guys, and I'll keep adding to it as we play. So Maximilian and Helena getting married. We had the angry father. It's funny, I put Hans on there, and I went back and looked at it right before we played. His name is Franz, and I kept calling him Hans or Franz last session.
Franz.
So it's
He'll stomp you up.
right. Franz Rafke was the father, and
Hans is his middle name.
that's right, Franz Hans Rafke. He was quite upset at the wedding because the bride token had not arrived that he was promised of hemp. It had gone missing. It had left Vorburg 2 days prior, which is the hometown village of Maximilian. So he was getting quite drunk, and he was not happy at all at the festivities. You guys were invited. You were brought in as sort of guests. The groom himself took a particular interest in you, Sandow, and invited you guys to kind of like one of the honor tables, the guests of honor table, where you guys proceeded to drink your faces off and almost cut off the finger of one of the guests. I really wanted him to fail that.
Is it fair to say it got a little heated, guys?
It got a little heated. Got a little weird. You guys, there was a race that you guys didn't partake in, where you would carry a woman on your back, and if you won,
I tried, but I'm just so short.
You're too short. If you won, you were married for the night until dawn to her. But that didn't transpire. But Sandow got up and did some entertaining of the crowd.
Sandow is the only remotely socially capable character in our party.
It's true. It's true. The gentleman to the right of Franz Hans Rafke there is Lutz, and he was running around the party the whole time, and he was clutching papers and such, and kind of like, he was drinking, sneaking drinks wherever he could. I can't remember if you guys spoke to him or not. I don't think you did. But you learned that he was kind of like his servant.
Yeah, we saw him running around, but yeah, I don't think anyone had the pleasure.
Yeah, I don't think anybody spoke to him.
He looks so friendly, too.
Yeah, I know, right? Look at that. That's a good picture of him. Helena the bride was very pregnant, but that was not uncommon for this region, as that is practice to ensure that the bride can produce children. She is quite a bit younger than Maximilian, and this whole thing was brokered as some sort of business transaction between Franz Hans Rafke and Maximilian Steger. You encountered the groom and the father of the bride in a heated argument later that night, where you did find out that the hemp had gone missing. Franz Hans stormed off. Maximilian hired you guys to come with him back to Vorburg and find out what happened to his missing hemp. The next morning, you were awoken by Andre Kessler over there, who is his bodyguard, and he had 3 sellswords in his I don't know. What's the word I'm looking for? Service. And on the way there was some chatting. Andre Kessler revealed that Heinrich and Dieter Truman were entrusted by Maximilian to bring the hemp to Swansea from Voorburg. And that's why they're on the chart there. We don't know much about them, but Andre mentioned in passing that he did not respect Heinrich because he beat his son Dieter. But Heinrich is held within high regard by Maximilian. It's like his right-hand man, his like closest friend. Did we leave anything else? Oh, and where do we leave off? We left off at the scene of the slaughter, did we not?
Yeah, that sounds about right. It was a definite nail-biting cliffhanger.
Dun, dun, dun. Right.
There we go.
So basically, this dude sold his daughter for a cartload of weed, and the weed's gone missing.
Yeah, and he's not happy about it. Would you be? So we got that. We've got that going. I thought about this, and I wish I had done this for my original group because there's a lot of players to this game, and this will help keep the names and the faces kind of in check. And I'll keep adding to it next week and all that, and after this week. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hans Franz
Ja.
Rafki. Okay, so we left off, and did you guys see this, or were you just told about it? Because I remember get out of here, Hans. Andre came back and was informing Maximilian of what he saw up ahead. He was scouting, because Blort no longer wanted to ride with Andre, so Andre was scouting up ahead by himself. And I believe he came back, he pulled Maximilian aside in the sellswords and said, and you overheard that he was talking about the slaughter that he found up ahead in the road. And they told the lady folk, "Oh, stay in there. Stay. Draw the shades. Stay. No. Don't worry. No. Just a slight interruption in the road. They don't want them to get too worried." And I forgot to put on here BB, Helena's friend, who's along for the ride, and is a bit of a.
She was pretty rude.
Yeah, she's super rude. She's just like, "What's going on out there? What's the holdup? Why aren't we moving?" And Maximilian
I was being so polite to her.
Calm down. So Maximilian suggests, why don't you go ahead with Andre and survey the scene and see what you can find up there. And Andre begrudgingly looks at the four of you and lets out an audible sigh. He's not too pleased with this, but he's being paid by Maximilian, and he turns to you and kind of throws his arm up and goes, let's go.
Oh yeah, one other thing is we kind of got the impression that Maximilian knew what we were going to find, as he tried to kind of make a deal for us just to say that, cart had gone missing or had been waylaid, even if we didn't find it.
Yes.
It. So we kind of get the idea he knew what happened.
He wanted to remain in favor with Franz Rafki. So he was willing to pay you a little bit more to lie. That's right. He mentioned that at lunch. And you guys kind of like, you want me to lie for you? And he's like, oh, no, I didn't say that. He changed the subject and didn't go there. Okay. So you guys go, let's say 10 meters up the road. And you go around a bend. And you just see the remnants of a battle. There's a slaughter. There's 3 wagons. Horses are all butchered. Lying around them are corpses of about a dozen people. All of them are peppered with short, black-fletched arrows.
I have experience with battlefield injuries. I will go and check for survivors or injured or anyone that could use my help.
Hey, does the black feathers mean anything?
Well, upon witnessing this, I'm going to have all of you make a routine resolve check to see how you handle seeing this, the horror of this slaughter.
All right, I think I have an ability for this. Let me check.
Yeah, it's going to see how this is going to affect you mentally. Oh, look at you. Kozel, this is nothing to you. Blort, pff. Blood? Blood is what brings me closer to my god. Sandow, you're fine with this.
They could have died in a more extravagant fashion.
I have experience with things ending.
Sorry, I'm lagging.
That's okay. You're fine. You guys are all like, this is nothing. Even though you're just like a bunch of peasants and villagers and drunks, you're just like, this isn't that bad. So you get a closer look. The arrows are very crudely made. You're asking about those, Sando. They're viciously barbed iron heads. So these don't look like they were made by a craftsman of any sort.
There is savagery afoot here, my companions.
Most of the people, or the bodies of the people lying here, have been shot to death.
No survivors, then?
No survivors.
Body's still warm?
They're not. You feel the bodies, and you do recall that it was mentioned that they left 2 days ago. So it appears that these bodies have been lying here for quite some time.
They look like they've been ransacked, like people have stolen pouches, have stripped them to find out if they had valuables.
See, that's funny. You poke around at these bodies, and they're only partly stripped of weapons and armor. So they're not completely stripped, and their money and valuables, for the most part, have been left behind.
Does this look like just kind of looking around? Does this look like a place that would be a good ambush spot?
Yes. That is an excellent question. Why don't you go ahead? Anybody can go ahead and make me a standard warfare test as you're surveying the scene. You're kind of recreating what took place here, a la CSI.
Not me.
Oh, you got a critical failure.
Yeah, apparently
they came from the ocean.
My sunglasses off just right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
What does a match mean?
That's a crit.
You critically failed. They came from the ocean.
I pull my trusted Sandow aside and I say, Master, I believe these arrows, they must have come from underground.
And I believe you.
Yeah. Is that everybody for warfare? So you survey the scene. You try to recreate what took place here the best you can. It looks like the convoy was attacked from both sides of the road. And it looks like they avoided melee as much as possible. It looks like it was just arrows. When you're also looking at the road, you find that the horses were subject to traps that had been planted in the leaves on the ground.
So this was a setup. Employer that there may be more traps on the road.
Hey man, this is why you got a rake and stuff, man.
So what's to the side of the road? Trees?
Yes, trees on either side. The other thing that's really strange is the bales of hemp are still there. Nobody took off with those, and that is the most valuable cargo that these things were transporting.
Is the wagon still there?
The wagons are there. These men are some horses are dead, littered with arrows, traps at their feet. Some armor, some weapons are taken, but for the most part, valuables are left behind. The hemp is there. The wagons are there. It just kind of looks like a slaughter.
No dead attackers either.
No dead attackers. Andre's kind of surveying the scene as well, and he points out that Heinrich, his body is not amongst the dead. That is
it is possible that this was a setup, but I don't know what he would gain from just killing all his friends and leaving their belongings.
Wait, but is it all his friends? Andre, who's missing here?
Heinrich. Heinrich's missing.
And only Heinrich.
Yeah, Heinrich and his boy may have been with him as well, Dieter.
Now the question is, were they captured or were they accomplices?
What? When you guys are also surveying the scene, can I get you all to make me a challenging scrutinize test?
As part of that scrutinize, I want to check out the tree line as well. Because,
yes.
I mean, obviously they'd be hiding in the tree lines. And what difficulty?
Scrutinize. Challenging, I'm sorry. A scrutinizing scrutinize test.
Oh, sorry, I need to go to challenging.
Ooh.
I can only fail.
Just
close.
barely.
Apparently this monocle is no good for this sort of thing.
Yeah, right? So you guys are poking about and you're trying to make heads or tails of what took place here, and for the most part you're out of your element, and you're throwing out wild accusations and ideas, and you're all like, yeah, that sounds about right. And Andre kind of steps over and shakes his head and goes, no. He pulls out one of the arrows and he goes, look at this. This was the craftsmanship, the handiwork of a mutant. No human made these. Listen, there's been mutants poking around here for the last few weeks. And it looks like they finally striked. They haven't attacked Vorburg or anything. But this is a declaration of war.
I whisper to Sandow, I do not have great desire to battle the X-Men.
So what do we know about mutants?
Some mutants
were once men. Yes, you're correct.
Yes, they were. You are correct, Sandow. These are men who were once men.
It was a double entendre.
They have been corrupted by chaos. So they are like abominations. Maybe they've grown tails. Maybe they've got a second head. Maybe they can look normal, but they have like the abilities of an animal. Perhaps they've now taken on the appearance of an animal. Mutations manifest themselves in strange and bizarre random ways, but they are corrupted individuals, once human, who
It's
now
like
live...
radiation apocalypse mutants type thing.
No, more like tainted by the evil gods mutants.
Oh, okay. Got it. It's a whole different type of sore that you're dealing with.
Yes, exactly. So they now live on the fringes of humanity because they are shunned and hated, and if they show their faces, they will be killed. Because people are very superstitious of these evil gods, and they want nothing to do with people who worship them or are tainted by them.
And it really is a shame. If they would just let me use my bone saw, I could make them almost as good as new, and there would be no shame.
Just saw off that tail.
On the more practical side of things, we are, 1 day's travel in?
You are so it is only a day's travel between these two places. So you're like halfway there, if not 3/4 of the way there, because you've already stopped for lunch. So you are very close to Vorburg at this point.
Okay, so take Maximilian aside and say, well, that cart is in good repair. Your bride's price is here. Why not send it back with a few horses? We can camp.
Maximilian's back at the coach. You went up there with Andre to go investigate. So
okay, yeah. So I'm gonna head back and
go back to Maximilian. He tells Maximilian. Max goes, listen. I don't know if you've heard, but there have been rumors of mutants in the area. Night is no time to be out here amongst them. We are close to Vorburg. We go back. Let us see what has transpired. But for all we know, they've attacked the village. We should go there, find out what's happening. We can come back for the hemp. That is the least of my concerns.
We came for the hemp.
Could we perhaps tow it?
He looks around. He looks to Andre. Andre kind of shrugs. Sir, it'll take hours to get the hemp back up in the wagons and repair these wagons that are lying there. It might be better to send men in the morning.
These poor unfortunate souls have been dead for 2 days. One more day will not make much of a difference in my view.
Right.
Maybe we should visit the town.
True.
Maximilian leans into the group of you. Goes, was Heinrich among the dead?
No, we have not found Heinrich. We believe he may be captured.
He breathes a sigh of relief. Oh, at least Heinrich seems to have escaped.
It depends on what's happened to him. It may be worse for him than these poor dead men right here.
There is also great suspicion from your man Andre that he is a betrayer or deceiver of some sorts. He wished us not to discuss it with you, but here I am.
Andre turns to you and he's visibly upset. He goes, "Oh, what?" He starts to like stammer and cut you off. He goes, "Master, you know how I feel about Heinrich." And Maximilian goes, "But Andre, we must. He has a child. He has a wife. We must think of his family. Hopefully, he's okay." Andre just kind of shakes his head. "We should carry on, sir. It's getting late in the day. Signs of mutants behind the attack. I suggest that we're not out here after it gets dark, especially with your bride and her guest."
Andre, what would they want? You seem to know something about these mutants. I mean, they killed these men. They didn't take the things of value. You have one man missing only. Why would they rub out this caravan for one lonely human?
Yeah, man.
Maximilian.
Something's fishy.
Maximilian looks around and he turns his back to the coach and he kind of brings you all in for a huddle and he is a hushed whisper and he goes, "Okay, there's more going on here than you know."
Aha! I knew it.
About 12 years.
You're not going to show us a third nipple now, are you?
No, I would.
Mutant.
Yeah, he's. I am not tainted by chaos. How
I
dare
draw
you?
my bone saw.
Yeah, Waldo, you got that.
Listen, about 12 years ago, mutants came to Vorburg. We thought we were done for, a tribe of mutants. I was a much younger man back then, and I wanted to fight it out.
Gods, I was strong then.
But before we went to make our stand at the village, we hid the women folk off in the hills, off in the cave atop the Horned Monk, which oversees Vorburg. The road is overgrown, impossible to find. We figured our women folk would be fine. So we hid the women away 12 years ago. Us men, we went back to the village. We prepared for battle. We fought as long and as hard as we could. I myself slayed 20 of these beasts, these abominations. And then I had an idea. We bluff. There was orcs among them. We bluff the orcs' big boss about help coming. And if they did not leave, they would be slaughtered. And they believed the story. They ran for their very lives. Unfortunately, when we went to collect our women afterwards, they were all gone. My wife, my daughter, the wives, daughters, and mothers of every man in the village were gone. I fear this is that tribe of mutants have come back again.
That's pretty heavy, man.
That was super duper dark.
Now you understand why I have no desire to stay out here. We must get back to Vorburg. The city is fortified with a short palisade. We could at least see them coming before they get there. Who knows what has happened? Who knows what's transpired? These beasts, they almost wiped us out 12 years ago. They killed our women. Well, or took them. Who knows what became of our women? Quick, we must not wait. If they have returned, we must rally the men and the troops.
But we don't know what happened to Heinrich either. Has he suffered the same fate as your women?
I don't know. Hopefully he made his way back to Vorburg.
Hopefully he still remains some small semblance of allegiance to your cater of fools.
Max just looks at you, just like he's already stunned, having to tell the tale of losing his wife and his daughter to these orcs and mutant raiders, and now he's dealing with you, and he's just like, oh, what? Why would you say such things?
The whole theme is grim and perilous. You better get with it or get off my back, dog.
So, which one of them...
Let's move from this place to another.
Which one of them said they knew... They had already said how they feel about Heinrich? Was that Maximilian who said he had strong feelings about Heinrich?
Maximilian is like... Heinrich is his closest friend. Andre does not like Heinrich. He does not like him as a man. He doesn't like him as a person he had mentioned in the last session. And he particularly didn't like him because he beats his boy, Dieter.
Right. What a dick.
Right? An asshole.
Well, I've heard some troubling rumors about Heinrich, but no one should suffer the fate of being captured by these horrid mutants. I say we should attempt a rescue.
It's not a bad idea. But first, we must find out where these beasts came from.
I already told you it was underground.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
you found
man.
traces of this?
Right.
They came up like mushrooms, man.
Yes, I believe that they have acquired over the course of their mutations some sort of mole-based, blind, digging, tunneling powers, as far as I can determine.
I have zero tracking skills. Can I, scrutinize the battlefield to see, is it possible to see where they came from or where they went?
Yeah, you can do that. For sure. You guys all could have when you were there. That's fine. He goes, he says, that's terrifying. That means they could dig into the middle of the village. Right underneath our walls.
We could truly already have fallen into their trap.
Hold up. They eat way too many mushrooms to listen to anything they say.
He is honestly correct. I have been intoxicated for somewhere along the lines of 2 weeks.
Yeah, this is the guy who's tying himself to the back of the carriage and being dragged along the road.
I forgot all about that.
It's bad when the alcoholic says that you partake in too many social drugs.
Oh, that was hilarious that you did that last session. Oh, man. Okay.
We should gather as much information as we can before we head to Vorburg.
He goes, okay, I don't disagree. We shouldn't wait out here too much longer. And please be sure that the women do not overhear any of this.
Very well. The rest of you, go ahead and gather information, like I said, and I will wait in the carriage.
With the women.
As we start to walk out into the field, I whisper to Sandow and Kozel. I say, you have both been incredibly quiet throughout this. What are your feelings on our situation?
I hope it doesn't rain, man.
All right, I really meant Sandow.
I think there's more going on here than Maximilian is telling us. I think he knows a bit more. Mutants? Likely.
I believe that all parties in play are withholding information from us, but I have no real evidence to base this thought on.
Andre comes over to the group of you when he's walked away from Maximilian, and he goes, hey, listen, while we were over there checking things out, I didn't want to say anything to Max, but it looks like the tracks may have come from the direction of the village.
You are obviously a poor track. They have come from beneath the earth.
I didn't get that at all.
No, you see here, this man, he fell on his stomach, and if you turn him over, his stomach is full of arrows. So that means obviously the arrows came from beneath. Now what we need to discover is exactly how these mole men approached. They must have some subterranean lair that we can find and conquer. Perhaps we could just pour a bunch of oil and water down a hole and snuff them out.
You know what? We're going to be leaving soon. Perhaps you should get hitched back up to the wagon real quick. I know it takes you a while, to properly be tied to the back of the wagon. Maybe you should go work on that while we figure out what's going on.
I was thinking this time I was just going to, like flying eagle myself across one of the spokes of the wheels and just spin the whole time. It might give me some semblance of this emotion that all of you enjoy so much.
You know what? That also takes some time. So you go ahead and tie up 3 of your limbs, and when we're done, I'll tie up the 4th for you.
As I'm walking back, I'm just like kicking like mounds of dirt, looking all over at the ground for holes.
Oh, I can't stand that guy.
He needs some time to think, so he's just going to tie himself to the spokes instead.
So it appears that the mutants came from the village then.
Yeah, it looks like the tracks came from the direction of the village and went back that way, is what Andre reveals.
Well, I suppose we should check the village. 2 days, it may not be good. Hopefully they have held off the attack.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the village is surrounded by a wall, well protected. Andre, how many do you make these tracks? Dozen? Less?
A dozen or more, at least.
As long as the village was prepared, they should have been able to defend. Let us keep hope.
There aren't... Listen. And he turns away from his the 3 seal swords. I am the most competent warrior in the village. It was foolish to send me along with Max. They're essentially... They're not prepared for an attack of this scale. We should make haste and get to Vorburg and make sure everyone is all right there.
Agreed.
Yeah, man. Let's go.
All right, so you guys get on your horses or in the carriages or however you're traveling on the spokes of the wheel. And
I would like to ask the women what they know about mutants.
Oh, Helena and Bibi are both taken aback. They let out a audible gasp.
Not that there's any reason to be worried. I'm just curious if you have any general knowledge.
BDS, are there mutants up ahead? What? Why have we stopped for so long? Are there? What?
No. There were orcs, not mutants. Orcs, yeah. So nothing to be worried about other than imminent death. But what do you know about mutants specifically?
I know that they are abominations and should be slain on sight.
Do you have any reason? How well do you know Heinrich?
Both women don't know Heinrich. They go, we're from Swansea. This is really our first time going to Vorburg.
You know what? Forget I said anything. There weren't even any orcs. It's just a horrible, horrible joke. I'm gonna sleep over here on this side of the carriage. You two go ahead and stay on the other side.
Bibi is all in a tither. What kind of man did you marry? What is going on here? What orcs and mutants? What kind of talk is this? You are pregnant. You cannot handle this sort of stress. You will lose the child. And she's just going on and on, just nattering.
I thought you were just gaining weight.
I thought you were retaining water.
I was going to prescribe a diet, but...
So, the carriage goes on, and
I vomit.
As the carriage takes off.
No, I'm assuming we've been like at least a little bit moving for some time.
Yeah, you've been moving for a little while.
As we've gone like 30 yards, I'm just yakking out the side like a fucking twisted metal weapon.
Keep it down out there. I'm trying to nap.
I'm sorry.
Hey man, I got something that can help you with your stomach, and I'll get close enough and poke a mushroom.
No, thank you.
Andre and Maximilian are like on edge. Their heads and eyes are just darting side to side as you guys are carrying on down the road. They are not comfortable whatsoever on this leg of the journey now after they've learned that there was a mutant attack on the caravan carrying the hemp. I'm going to get all of you to go ahead and make me a challenging awareness test, as you're also trying to keep an eye out for any sorts of dangers.
To be fair, I was trying to nap.
Ah, shit.
Which explains why I failed that roll.
Well, I'm on the roof running shotgun again, so good view up here.
Riding blunderbuss.
Yes.
As they call it in the
Nice,
book.
dude.
Is there actually a blunderbuss up here?
No, there isn't.
Ah,
Oh, okay. So everybody who failed, you take 10 points of mental peril as you are just like welled up with fear, and you can't like really relax on this leg of the journey. And you also, because of the anxiety, you gain 1 corruption point. And corruption points are what leads to you becoming a mutant, because you can gain there's tables you can roll on once you gain enough corruption, and you will become a mutant.
Is that so? Just in that center circle, we add 1.
Depending on what your threshold is.
so this is if you failed.
Oh, corruption, yes. Yeah, if you failed, so you're the only one who didn't. So you're looking at the peril threshold on the right-hand side of your character sheet. You should have 1, 2, 3 squares there, a big one, and then 3 small ones. And depending on what your scores are in there, it's going to determine how many little blips underneath you click in the peril condition track. So you've taken 10 points, right? I'm looking at Kozil's right now.
Good,
that would put
'cause I
you
don't-
into the second. That would put you into the 11. So you are imperiled on the peril condition track.
All right.
So we took 10 points, and my peril threshold, it says 7, 13, 19. That would put me in imperiled?
Yes.
Got it.
Oh, I get it. Okay, it's going left
It's
to
a-
right, counting up.
It's a track.
Okay.
Exactly.
So I have to be under 7 to be unhindered.
Yes.
Got it.
Okay.
You know, it's funny. I can never be anything but
Oh,
imperiled.
that's right. You can't. I forgot
I am
about
just
that.
always lightly wounded and can never be fully healed. But for this, all of my shit is really, really hard to make me feel pain.
I forgot about that. That's hilarious.
Because life is truly
I really
pain
dig
for him.
this class.
You were born for it.
Real set is getting quite drunk and into character now.
So imperiled means you have no negative effects. So unhindered and imperiled, no ill effects. Once you start going further down the track, that's when you see like ignore 1 skill rank, ignore 2 skill ranks, ignore 3 skill ranks. So right now doesn't have any mechanical disadvantages. You're just getting that much closer to having bad things happen on your rolls. Because it's grim and perilous, as Blort said. So you make your way across the countryside. As you're carrying on, the forests start to clear, and you start to make your way to surrounding farmlands. You do notice that it is currently harvest time. And harvest time is when you normally see workers out in the fields till like dusk or later, working to get the crops up and off the fields. There is no one currently working the fields as you make your way closer and closer to Vorburg. So you find that a little strange and also a little unnerving. You're like, oh,
Not good.
yeah, not
Perhaps
a good
the
sign.
rapture has come, and we are all that are left who are unworthy of the love of God.
You guys round the road, and you get your first glimpse of Vorburg. It's a striking village. Rounding the top of a wooded hill, you look down on a village nestled amongst fields and surrounded by a timber palisades. Behind it, a local mountain, well, more like a large hill, but the locals call it a mountain, is behind it. And you assume that this is the horned monk that you were told about by Maximilian in the story that he regaled you in, that where they hid the women in a cave atop the horned monk. It juts out suddenly from the ground. It's a very unusual hill/mountain. Juts out suddenly from the ground, and although its sides are forested like other hills, the tree line ends below the summit. And you can only assume This is where it gets its nickname, the Horned Monk, because it's almost like a bald head at the top. So you guys make your way towards the village, and you get to the palisades, and there's a gate there, and Andre gets up to the gate, and he goes, "Let us in! Open the gates!" And you hear a voice behind you. "Who's there?" "It's Andre and Maximilian."
And Blort.
And you hear the voice, "Thank the God Emperor, Maximilian made it through!" And the gate starts to open, and you guys are brought into the village.
Did they say God Emperor?
Thank the God Emperor.
Oh, okay. I thought they were referring to this swine man, Max, as the God Emperor.
No. They were thinking...
Disappointed with the religious situation we have found ourselves.
That would be heresy.
No, they were thinking you.
Yeah. Oh, Blort's here. So you guys are brought into the village, and the gates are shut quickly behind you, like immediately. The coach is soon surrounded by a crowd of scared villagers. You can see people coming in, and they're all kind of like they're in disbelief that Maximilian's here. They're looking at the group of you like, who are these guys like? And they're kind of standoffish, and lots of whispers and pointing going on. Maximilian gets down off his horse and leaves the group of you behind, and he walks over to a large, rotund, kind of goofy-looking man, and he starts chatting with him. Let's see, I think I have a picture of him. This guy.
Ooh.
As I said, he's a rotund, goofy-looking guy.
Yeah.
For some reason, this gentleman is incredibly endearing to me.
That's my next haircut right there, man.
Something about his widow's peak and his several chins makes me aroused.
I mean, it's really only 2 chins, because the second chin is so big it could not turn into a third.
Can you not see that the central initial chin is split into 2 little butt cheek chins?
All right, now I need to look at this picture again. Yeah.
Those are proper jowls.
And shortly after, a man in his looks like his early to mid 20s makes his way over as well, and you look at him. He's got a passing resemblance to Maximilian, and that's that gentleman there. And the three of them, I apologize, not the two of them, but 3 of them are deep in conversation, and suddenly the goofy looking guy leaves, and Maximilian makes his way over with the younger man, the man in his 20s, and comes over to the group of you and beckons you over. Come here, please. Meet, this is my son. Waldman. He's been watching the village while we've been away. Waldman, what has been happening? Heinrich, did he come back to the village? He goes, "Oh, no, father. We haven't seen or heard from Heinrich. He had his 10-year-old son Dieter with him, and we've not seen or heard from them at all." He goes, "Well, have there been signs?" He hushes his breath and moves away from the crowd. "Have there been signs of mutants around here?" And Waldman sighs, and he shakes his head no, but he goes, "There's something I'd like to show you all. Please come with me. There's something outside the gates you need to see." And he motions.
I'm growing increasingly nervous regarding this entire situation.
He goes,
Yeah, man.
"Andre, please accompany us. And the group of you, please come here. Let's see what has my son in this village so rattled."
Oh, we've been through this before, haven't we, guys? They want to show us something on the other side of the walls. And the next thing we know, we're closed out of the village. And we
tale as old this time.
To perform this time.
You better not lock us out, man. That shit's not cool.
It's like when the guy's like, "You want to take this outside?" And the other guy's like, "Yeah." So he goes outside, and then the first guy who said that closes the door, locks it. And he's like, "You're dumb. I won this."
So you guys are like, "You go first. You guys go first." And Maximilian and Waldman and Andre are just looking at the group of you like, "Fine." And Waldman's like, "Well, I got to show you what I want to show you guys, so follow me.
Before they walk forward, I'm shouting like, I am, this cannot be right. This seems like a trap.
It's a trap. It's a trap.
Like, we're just standing outside this door, and they're like, no, please, you go in first for sure. We'll go in right after you, but you go right in there now.
Waldman's like, he's putting his hands. He's like, shh, don't upset these people anymore. I can't. I don't want to speak of what's out there. We need your help, and I need you to verify what you see here. If it checks out with what my father says you saw on the road.
All right, man, but you got to keep all your clothes on when we go out there.
Why would I disrobe?
It's not the first time someone's asked me somewhere private. Things took a turn for the weird, man.
I mean, you could disrobe. We wouldn't all mind.
Hey, how's it going? You from around here? Do you need a ride?
You are much more handsome than your father.
Thank you.
A little bit thinner, too, I've
Waldman
noticed.
says.
You look strong.
Thanks.
Hey, are you two related, man?
You look sexually potent.
Maximilian's my father. Thanks.
But is he your daddy?
Yes.
You can call me daddy, man.
Yeah, it was a euphemism. I was being obnoxious. I'll be silent for the
I
rest
know,
of
but
this
Waldman
engagement.
doesn't know that. Waldman's just like, yeah, he's my dad. So,
Do you lift?
Do you lift? You guys are beckoned outside with Andre, Maximilian, and Waldman, where Waldman takes you to the fields. He goes, it's over here. I'm gonna warn you though, it's rather gruesome. And you guys round a corner around the wall, through the fields, and you see strung up like scarecrows the body of a man and a boy. And Maximilian goes, "Oh my God, it's Heinrich!" Oh, and they're slaughtered. They're dead. They're cut open, disemboweled, and it looks like they're put up here for display.
How did the
village
mole get them so high up in the air?
The mutants? How did they get them so high up?
How did the mole people get them so high up in the air?
It looks like they were not accomplices. We might owe someone an apology.
Perhaps this is a vast illusion.
They're riddled with the same crudely barbed black arrows from the ambush.
I know I'm short, but can we poke them to see if they are an illusion or not?
Yeah, well, Waldman and Andre goes, "Hey, give us a hand cutting the bodies down. We can't leave them up here." And
I grab my bone saw and cut the rope.
There you go. The bodies flop to the ground.
Hey, man, I think they might be dead.
Of course they're dead.
Wait. Let me check. I might be able to save them. And I go up and I check to see if they're dead.
Yeah, you go over and you check them, and I'm not even going to make you need to have a check. They are deader than dead. They're cold. Rigor mortis is set in. They are very dead.
Okay, so we might be able to do something I call CPR to save them. Nope, they're dead. They're dead. Sorry, it's too late.
Waldman goes, "Listen, we didn't cut them down earlier. We didn't know who or what was going on. We didn't know how many of them there were. There was barely any men left behind to protect the village. We closed the gates down, and we just prayed that someone or something, reinforcements or something, would come along. So thank the stars that my father has hired the four of you. You look capable." Kind of stutters on the word.
Strut a little bit.
I'm bleeding.
You look like a capable bunch. But we must take the bodies in and show respects to the dead. His widow, Enid, is most likely at the shrine to the God Emperor, praying for her dead husband and son.
When did the bodies show up? How long were they there? Who noticed them first?
It was the laborers, the hired workers. They went out to the fields in the morning, and they noticed them out there first thing in the morning.
That tracks then. So this morning,
Yes.
they were found. Carts have been gone for 2 days.
2 days.
All right. Was anything tied to the body? A message, a warning, some sigil, perhaps?
Yeah, they're looking over the bodies, and Andre's looking over with you. You can go ahead and make an awareness check. Make a standard awareness test. Ooh. You succeed. Anybody can if you want. You look over the bodies. You don't see anything unusual or any markings or anything, but you do notice Waldman, when you're speaking of mutants and such, you notice him fiddling with a talisman around his neck. While you guys are studying the bodies, and whenever mutants are brought up and the loss of loved ones is mentioned there, he's fiddling with this copper and silver wire intertwined talisman. It forms a crude figure.
Does it mean anything to me? Just common, vernacular, regional lore? Does it mean anything?
Well,
perhaps a folklore.
You can make a folklore check. Yeah. We don't have any. Do we have any casters? Do we have a caster in the group?
Yep. That'd be me.
You can go ahead and make me a challenging incantation test.
I'll point it out to have this make sense.
Oh, I thought it was your roll. Oh, he did not make it. Okay. Yeah, nothing really stands out to you, but Sando, I think you're the only one that passed your roll, aren't you? Oh no, you and someone else. I don't see it anymore. You had 2 rolls? No, the folklore. Yeah, you're the only one. You don't recognize or recall any sorts of stories that would be connected to this for local folklore. You know that the people in these regions are superstitious. They have a lot of strange traditions, such as, impregnating your bride before getting married and things like that. So you're not at all surprised, and it's not uncommon to see people have these sorts of trinkets that they carry around with them due to their superstitions.
All right, well, I'll be blunt about it then. I will say, 'tis an interesting talisman you have there. To what god are you praying?
He kind of stops and looks at you, and he goes, I'm sorry, I don't even think about it. I didn't realize I was doing that. It's my mother made this for me. My mother, who, I don't know if you've heard, but there was a terrible attack on the village about a dozen years ago, and the women folk were all locked away in a cave to protect them, and there were no signs of them when we returned for them after the orcs and the mutants were chased away. And this is the last thing I have that my mother gave me, and this horrific sight just reminds me of her.
I just clap him on the back.
Incredibly depressing.
Grim and perilous. He goes, shall we get the bodies back into the village, and perhaps one of us should notify the widow, and also the local pastor is the brother of Heinrich. We should let him know what has transpired here, that his brother and nephew have passed. So they lift up the bodies and they cover them up. Andre takes off. He's got a cloak on. He takes it off and wraps up the boy. And Maximilian takes off his coat and puts it over as best he can over Heinrich. And they carry the bodies back inside the village. They look to you for help. The 4 of you. So you guys
I
get
mean,
back.
I could help, but I'm a little short.
You are a little short. That's not.
Hey,
you're not-
man. I'm just an old man, man. I don't know, like, my sciatica and stuff, man.
You're. How old are you?
I've seen it. He's got
74.
Oh, you are an old man.
Yeah.
So as you're walking back, Maximilian says to Andre, "Listen, if people ask, I think it's best that we say it was bandits. Bandits did this. Let's no talk of mutants." And Andre nods his head in agreement.
I'm sure the bodies have been there long enough for tongues to wag at this point. Everyone saw the arrow.
Yes, lies are the source of all evil. I do not see any reason to hide this information from your townsfolk.
Waldman goes, "Listen, there's been a lot of talk amongst the laborers that have found him. Rumors are spreading all over town, but let's try to keep morale up. We've been through enough in the past regarding mutants. So people here, they don't want to hear that. If you're asked, please just allude to bandits."
I am
Man.
an honest man.
Are you asking us to lie again, man?
Yes.
Like, you're dishonest and stuff.
In this instance, I'm asking you to lie, Maximilian. He's getting like agitated. He's very upset with the death of his friend, you can tell.
Maximilian.
I understand. You should not always tell the patient when they are dying.
Well, would you rather your townsfolk be unprepared and the people that look up to your son be unknowing of the dread to come?
Maximilian does not know what to make of you. He goes, "Please just tell them. Don't mention mutants if you can. Or don't even bring it up."
Hey, man. I got a great idea if you're worried about the morale of your town.
What is that?
You know, they say that music heals the soul and stuff, man. Maybe,
you a musician?
No,
He's
man.
just been listening to a lot of Third Eye Blind lately.
Oh, I wish I knew some Third Eye Blind. I could sing you guys right now, but
I wish you would step back from that.
Oh,
ledge,
shit.
my friend.
I had that song in my head, but I'm like, that's not it.
All the lies you've been living in.
Wow.
There we go. I'm not continuing that.
You
but,
know more than me, but okay.
Yeah. No,
And nephew, do not want to see me again.
I would understand.
Wow, karaoke.
Okay.
Notorious
That's all we
DMG
needed.
karaoke
That is
night.
the max amount allowed.
So you guys make your way back inside the gates, and Maximilian turns to the group of you. He goes, "Listen, you could choose to leave in the morning if you like. For everything you've done, let me put you up at the local tavern, the Cowardly Orcs. My good friend Horst, he was the gentleman I was speaking with earlier when I first came in the gates, is the one who runs it. Why don't you make your way there? Your room, board will be on me for the night. I can't send anyone out.
Wait, just one night?
Well, it's up to you. You're welcome to stay. We could take a look at this further in the morning. I would be grateful if you stayed in my village to help get to the bottom of this, but if you want to move on, I guess I would understand."
I would understand.
Your man Andre speak of it. Your village is ill fit to withstand an assault by these.
Maximilian, yeah, he thinks you're not wrong. These men are not equipped to handle such things. Let us talk more of it in the morning. Speak with my friend Horst at the Cowardly Orcs. And,
Does our room have a balcony?
you don't know yet.
Ah, shit.
Is that
Let's
important to
find
you?
out.
So you make your way through the village. You're pointing in the direction of the Cowardly Orcs. ORX, by the way. In true Zweihander fashion.
Ooh.
Where everything's a play on Warhammer. You make your way in that direction. As you're walking around, you do see a few things of interest. You do see the shrine of the God Emperor in the far end of the village. You see Maximilian take his cart lead it towards a large house or mansion, and you could only assume that that's where Maximilian Steger lives. And you see a bunch of like shanties and tents, which looks like it would be maybe the laborers' quarters. There's a bunch of dirty looking people milling about. But you make your way to the Cowardly Orcs. You open the door, and inside it's quite busy. Behind the bar, you do see that goofy, rotund man again, Horst. Let's bring him up there again with his double bum chin.
Quit putting that image on my laptop.
Stop doing that. He's looking into your soul.
My wife's gonna walk by and wonder what I'm doing over here.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna hack into your mainframe and remove this image from the internet.
Oh, it's such a good Grim and Perilous image, though, for a character.
Dude, that's
perfect.
Grim and Perilous for in real life Seth, not even Blort. Like, knowing that this exists is stressful. This is on my laptop somehow. This is malware. This is illegal.
This is illegal. Oh, man. You make your way in. It's quite busy. You see him behind the bar, and he recognizes the group of you. There's also a young woman back there. She looks like she's in her early 20s, and she's milling about. And he calls out to you. Oh, you're Maximilian's friends. Come on, come in. You've been looked after for the night. Please, what can I get you? My name is Horst. This is my wife, Lizette. He points to the young girl.
Why does everyone in your town marry children?
Just that's the first thing you ask him.
Also, I would like an ale.
Sure, one ale. I don't know if you've heard of what happened here years ago. All of the women, they
No, I heard it just doesn't correlate
they
directly.
disappeared. This is why
my mind.
when you're walking around this village, you'll notice that many of the women here are younger. There's girls who have been born since the incident, but we've had to take wives from surrounding villages and the area. So a lot of the women that you do see here in town are quite a bit younger than us.
Listen,
Wait,
listen.
guys.
Through my ale, can I be honest with you? That is the worst.
You don't think this was some large plot for all the men in the village to get rid of their wives, do you?
To get younger wives.
Stepford wives?
This is just some deep fucking Operation Ball and Chain bullshit.
Perhaps these aren't mutants at all. Perhaps these are angry wives come back to extract revenge.
But where would they have gained the powers of the mole, Sandow?
Oh my goodness.
Well, perhaps they were all shrews.
Oh, it hurts. Oh,
Bert, you ruthless animal!
He saw the pun and he took it.
He went for it.
An actual fucking spit take on this.
Oh, that hurts my midsection.
How could you say that? Like,
You're
it's not
welcome.
even a
Here
big
all week.
fucking
Tip
deal.
your bartenders.
Oh,
So yeah, Horst is a rather goofy man, and he seems he's very full of himself. He goes, well, the tale from 12 years ago, I personally slayed 20 of these orcs and mutants, and he points to a sword that hangs above the door, and I did it with my very blade.
Could I borrow that in case we need it for a future orc?
No, I will use it. Should things go awry here.
Right. Of course. My bad.
He puts his hands on his large belly. He goes, I was in much better shape 12 years ago, and I was quite a beast on the battlefield.
Yes, the greatest of warriors are known to have the largest bellies.
hey man, don't be hard on yourself. You're still in a shape, dude.
Thank you.
Yes, hair is a sheep.
Thank you. That means
I
a
was
lot coming
leaning
from
more-
an elderly man.
Circle, but, A pear is generous for you. I hope you understand that.
Sure. Hey, listen, I'm going to let me get you some food, and I'll be right back. My wife here.
Don't forget the ale.
My wife Lizette will get you the ale, and he calls her over, and she greets the group of you. And
how old is she?
She's
I ask if she has a TAPS card.
She has a what card?
If she has a TAPS card, you can't get one if you're not 21. I just being a fucking retard. Sorry.
She's in her early 20s. She goes, "Oh, I've heard that Maximilian brought you with him from Swansea. Welcome. I've also heard that there's been some trouble outside the gates."
Oh yeah, nothing we can't handle. Quick question: how long have you been married?
Oh, we've only been married for a couple years now.
Couple years, so
Horst, he's a great man. You should hear the tales of his exploits from years ago. He was the slayer of orcs and mutants. I'm very lucky to be married.
Interesting. So I'm sure he gets along with your mom then.
Well, my mom is over in Swansea, and we don't visit very often.
Oh, so she doesn't live here?
No, she does not live here.
Well, that's good, because it seems like she wouldn't have many friends over here her age.
Yes. You are right.
What a way to bring the temperature of the room down.
Yeah, she goes, "Well,
I have no response to that.
I'm sure you've heard about what took place here, but my husband, he was a great warrior."
Was a good excuse for the terrible cataclysm you all perform upon yourselves every week with these horrible child marriages. Like those things get to even each other out. Like I understand the desire to continue your lineage and not just take a 15-year sex break. But honestly, like life is so fleeting and futile. Why does it matter so much that you marry a 9-year-old just for this? This is dreadful. I hate this town.
You start whipping yourself.
I'm whipping myself and crying.
The blade that he drew our attention to, does it actually look like it was used, or does it look like it's just a piece?
Why don't you make
He killed.
What's that?
He said he killed like 20 orcs with it, right?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and make me a routine scrutinize? You're looking at it up on the wall there. It's hanging above the door.
Yes, and I've slain 1,000 dragons.
You've slain 1,000 mole men. Oh, critical success. Yeah, Sandow, you're like, this blade, though it does look like there's like some chips and things taken out of the steel, this is not from battle. It looks like someone just kind of messing around and hitting like fence posts and other swords and just kind of goofing around with it. This does not look like a battle used weapon.
Right. Guys, more and more I'm liking my theory about the wife conspiracy here.
Makes sense that there's not a battle axe over his bar, am I right?
I tried to get information from them, but they're locked down. This is like a vault.
I did not detect a pun about women in that phrase.
Is she still here?
She's still standing there. She's like looking at the group of you. She goes, did I heard rumor of Heinrich and his son. Can you speak to that?
Ooh,
I believe
yeah,
that
you
would
don't
be
want to talk about Heinrich.
Probably a job for Sandow.
Yeah,
and
man.
I walk
Sandow.
away
We're not-
sipping my beer.
We're not
I
supposed to
think
talk about
Maximilian
them.
is going to make an announcement about that in the very near.
Can you confirm anything?
Well, I mean, you're not Ken, are you?
No. I do not respect Heinrich, she says. I'll tell you one thing about Heinrich. At least my husband, and she points over to Horst, never
Good God.
beat me black and blue.
Sandal stares at her, takes his cap off, looks down, and sadly shakes his head and says, "I can neither confirm nor deny."
So you're learning more. Heinrich is disliked by Andre for beating his child, and you're now learning that there's rumor that he probably beat his wife too. So yeah. Heinrich sounds like a wonderful person that totally deserved everything that happened to him.
Single individual citizen of this place is a true terror of the earth.
She goes, has anybody told his wife or brother, the local pastor?
I don't know. Has anybody picked her up from daycare yet?
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah. That would be up to Max. That would be up to Max to say something.
Well, if he's as terrible as what they said, maybe we should pick up like a bottle of champagne to give her when we tell her the news.
Yeah, maybe she goes, yeah,
great news, you're back on the market.
Maybe you're young and
at the ripe age of 14, you can have a second divorce.
She goes, you know what? Maybe she could use a drink, old Enid, but keep it away from Pastor Wilhelm, will you? He's she kind of makes a little sippy motion. You know,
did you say Pastor Wilhelm?
Pastor Wilhelm, yes, the Heinrich's brother. He, he went through a lot here, but so did everybody else 12 years ago. You don't see my husband fall apart. She gets all judgy.
Did you say old Enid?
Yeah, I believe that was hyperbole or sarcasm.
Yeah, hyperbole. Old Enid. Yes, all of the women. You notice this as you're walking through the village.
For a woman is of age.
You noticed as you're walking through the village earlier. Now that it's brought up and it's mentioned, you're kind of like, yeah, all the women here are really young.
I remain silent in real life and in character.
Horst comes back with your food. He goes, "Oh, you've been chatting with my wife. I hope everything is well, and she hasn't talked your ear off, have you, honey?" And she goes, "Oh, no." And she scuttles away and goes back to serving other patrons.
She's been a great hostess.
Oh,
yeah.
Excellent.
It's fine, man. I only got one ear anyway, so she can't talk that one off.
Yes, I was teaching her times tables.
Christ.
Oh, he goes, so Max mentioned some trouble on the road. He didn't really get into it. What can you say? What did you guys see outside the gates?
Some trees.
Couple dead bodies.
Just a couple, I believe. I whispered to Sandow, like, are we telling people? He said not to mention mutants, but to mention orcs. Would the orcs be included in the same group as mole men? Could I reference them in this conversation?
Well, he did say that the good innkeep here was his good friend.
That's right. I am. I'm one of his closest friends. Max is a true hero. He saved this village years ago. Max is the best man for the job. He's going to save us all. It's fantastic.
Oh, did Max have your back when you were killing all those orcs?
He did. He was in awe of my ability on the battlefield.
Sandow just shakes his head sadly and says,
I
are
do
all
not
in
trust
so much
this
trouble.
Man is honest.
Yes, I am the great slayer of orcs and mutants. You might say that they ran for their lives after they saw me handle that sword there on the battlefield.
I think we need to have, like, a team meeting of sorts.
Right, innkeep, there's a room for us here, I understand. Max said you would put us up?
Yeah, he goes, boy, get over here. And,
yes. Yeah.
Klaus! You see this kid scuttle
bad.
out. I'd say he's in his teens. Scuttle out, a boy with like kind of dirty, mangy, unkept red hair. He comes on over to you. You get a look at him. You can tell he's missing he's a few bricks short of a load. Looks like he might be a little challenged mentally, and he comes. Oh, yes. Horst, what can I do for you? Show these men to their room, Klaus. Oh, okay. And he leads you up some stairs and to
the one with the balcony, please.
A large room, shared room. And he goes, "There's no balconies here. I'm sorry."
I guess I won't have to step back from that ledge, my friend.
Hey man, I would understand.
Shows you to your room, and is that all? And waits. He doesn't really like make eye contact with anyone.
Is this the best room you have?
It is. You've been given the best room,
and we have to share it.
Yes.
I mentioned that I just wanted him to notice.
What did you want him to notice?
I'm not going to answer that question because I do not want to derail this any further.
So he scuttles away after he shows you the room.
Okay, gentlemen, I am going to be quite honest with you. I've had several ales. I've been spun around about on the wagon spoke for some time now. We've been introduced to a great many characters who have told us a great many lies, and I don't think it has gotten past many of our collective wisdoms that the lies are being told to all of us. And I just want to know exactly where we all stand so we can move forward as a unit instead of as an uncoordinated team.
I agree. We should absolutely cut ties with all the lies.
You son of a bitch! I was going for it and you took it from me.
I mean, if you don't want to see me again.
No, but like straight up in character, what I am trying to say as Blort is like this session and last, like towards the end especially, we basically got introduced to like 7 people now who all have interests that on the surface are aligned, but they are all giving us very strangely conflicting, like very shady versions of the information that each other have, you know? And like where are we standing as a team right now? Like, I mean, who do any of you believe we should trust, if any of these people?
I don't think we should trust any of them.
I am exactly in the same boat. I have zero faith that Maximilian, nor Horst, nor Andre, none of them have any form of honesty in their bodies.
I'm not even sure I trust you, so I absolutely don't trust them.
Wise not to trust me.
Yes, I know.
But still, is the mystery not intriguing? This would make a good story. A ballad, even.
No, I certainly agree. I believe firmly that good things can happen on this cursed earth, but it seems as though we are going to be the ones to make that happen. We will not be witnesses. We will be the cause of whatever heroism is performed in this town.
Which is scary, looking at the bunch of you.
Yeah,
that was my primary point, is that there's a man on mushrooms in my open exposed back wounds, Sandow's high collar and purse, and Waldelandis's I don't even know what.
Just grinning with his bone saw.
Yeah, you just like used to be a doctor, but also you're unemployed in a time where doctors were basically gods. So like really how far could you truly have fallen to be in this situation?
I'm just not very motivated, okay? I could have my own practice if I wanted.
Well, I mean, I could quit smoking cigarettes if I wanted, but I, haven't because I don't want to. And Blort starts smoking cigarettes.
Don't push me, man, okay?
I mean, I'm not trying to push you. I am just saying Like, we as a cohesive unit have decided in this small meeting to trust no one. Not even ourselves?
Agreed. Trust no one. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Are we gonna try and
eyes opened?
yeah?
Your ears opened, and let us find what we might.
Yeah.
By the
Sandow,
way-
we are all your personal advisors. Whatever you wish upon our group to do or not do, you simply need say it.
And
You have 180 times as much money as us.
on that same thought, Sandow, you're a bit behind on our allowance this week, and I know it's not a big deal, but like, you know, I got some bills that need to be paid.
I want some candy.
You sound like all of the brides in this.
I mean, if you're running late, it's fine. I just, you know, sooner rather than later would be nice.
I don't know. Giving you coin in this town, there's only so much you can spend it on.
Are you not the famous candy boy? I simply wish for some sweet treats.
If you're going to be our sugar daddy, we need some sugar. That's all I'm saying.
You're the sugar daddy. I want to be your little sugar boy.
He is the face of a candy company, right? That's where you're going with this.
He's the Gerber
Sweet
candy
meats.
baby.
The sweet meats,
Sweet meats.
the famous sugar boy. That's what he's referring to.
Exactly.
He went from sugar boy to sugar daddy for all of us.
Well, I suppose this is a new town, and the bargain was payment in every new town. You got me.
Yeah, man. I even gave you the setup for a performance earlier,
Put
man.
it on any one place.
Here's your brass
for
penny,
any
each of you.
underage women.
I like to think that Blort accepts payment from Sandow in the form of like whatever the Zweihander equivalent of like a single M&M would be.
A single sweetmeat.
A singular sweetmeat if they did come in like single dollar packages of 100.
Whole new line called Little Sandows. Conveniently wrapped. About 2 billion calories per.
At the end of the commercial, your famous line, you eat it and you're like, these are real Sam Wow, am I right?
Oh.
I am honestly just sitting in front of my laptop rambling like a drunk man right now. And
I'm gonna flash the picture of Horst on your screen again.
Stop putting it in my laptop.
So what's the plan here, fellas?
Well, this is what? This is early evening?
Yeah, it's early. We'll say it's 6-7 p.m. around there.
I mean, if it's past 5, it's time to get drunk.
Exactly. The ale house will hold everything we need.
And Maximilian's
Both
paying.
liquid and in knowledge.
Gentlemen, I have a small strategy I would suggest that we place upon ourselves before we get too intoxicated. I propose that we draw straws or roll dice or something and determine one of us who will stay sober. But
you all know Sandow doesn't drink, so.
Oh shit, I forgot all about that. Okay, well, you act drunk, and like we'll all act drunk in the bar and try to pick up some information with some like, you know, subversary.
Yeah, I'm not gonna act drunk because the one thing you can't amputate is depression.
Nice one, dude. Do you say that in character?
Dark.
Blort would say along the lines of "Whip the fuck out of your back; it'll make it better."
That's what the ale's for. I numb it.
You're whipping your insides.
He's whipping his liver, man.
Oh.
You've been a naughty liver. I'm joking. My flagellation is not a sex thing. I'm chaste. I've never lied with the woman.
That is not obvious at all.
I know. I'm so dashing.
He's eating a bag of candy and bleeding on the floor.
I'm a 66-year-old, 4-foot tall man with bleeding wounds on his back permanently. I'm irresistible.
Are you really
Only thing
66?
I've eaten in the last 4 days is some candy and some mushrooms.
Are you 66
How
years
is everyone so old?
Because that's so much time has passed since my birth.
Oh man, I'm just looking at your character sheet. Oh, don't
Come
mind
on,
me.
it's a grim and perilous world. If you've lived this long, you've got to have some life skills.
My life skill is determining the truth and espousing it with no social knowledge of the impacts of my action.
So you guys hear a bang at the door, and you hear a female voice come through. It's a familiar female voice. It's Lizette again. She goes, you haven't touched your meals. Or did you still want them?
Oh yes, bring them in.
Yeah, man.
They're down at the bar. I didn't bring them with me.
Is this a
we'll be down.
joke?
How did you not bring them to us?
Hey, man, it's okay. I'll go eat them downstairs, man.
You can't even blame her. She's like 7.
There goes the tip.
Oh, you guys are way more hung up on the young woman aspect of this than the last group around this bar. Okay.
I make sure the Sandow does not tip because this is horrible service.
And a horrible town. A horrible village.
Anyone in this bar like lays down a tip, me and like Waldelanis are on the fucking prowl to like snatch it off a table.
They do not deserve that.
Oh man. Okay. She goes, well, I could have Klaus bring up your food if you like.
Oh,
Well, maybe he knows how to serve us.
Don't be rude directly to her. Do it behind her back like me.
Chomp, chomp, chomp.
I'm sorry, I haven't had my ale yet.
All right, so you guys head back downstairs. Your food's waiting for you, as is your ale, and Horst welcomes you back again. And yeah, a few more people have made their way into the tavern. It looks like a bunch of the laborers have come in for drinks, and it's yeah, you eat your food. It's delicious. You have your ale, and people are like looking and staring at the group of you, and you know, you're outsiders. They're not too sure what to make of you, especially with all the news that's going around town right now and the rumors. You're kind of getting the stink eye from everybody.
So I'll eat, and then afterwards I want to kind of meander around and just kind of ask, you know, like, if anyone has any idea, like, what's going on. Like, hey, man, like, what's going on around here, man? Everyone's really bummed out.
To, like, the laborers? Or villagers?
Yeah. See if any of those field laborers maybe have any additional information, since they're the ones that saw the one asshole and his son.
Right. He goes, well, you go up to a laborer, and he's sitting there, and they're kind of drinking, and they look at you like, oh, what do you want? Huh? What are you asking us, old man?
Hey, man, like, what's been going on around here, man? People seem really tense.
There's rumors of bandits and other things going on. Well, I don't know. Listen, all I care is that I get paid my money to take care of this harvest, and I move on to the next place.
Man, you're, like, not local, man?
No, I'm hired help. It's harvest.
You realize that you also are not local, Kozel.
Yeah, man, but I don't work here and stuff. I'm glad you pointed that out.
Your social acumen confuses me.
That's hilarious.
It confuses me too, man. So, like, are the roads usually safe, man?
Yeah, I don't know. There's this rumor of these things that took place here years ago. We don't know. Like, listen, if they were so heroic, how come their women got snatched up?
Here.
And then he goes, well, let me ask you this, though. If you had the chance to marry over again, wouldn't you pick a nice young thing? Huh?
Here.
I strike the man that said that.
Really? With the back of your hand or your cat of nine tails?
I feel like being casually like rubbing some balm on my back, but I still have my cat of nine tails out. And as soon as he's like, "Yeah, you know, dude, fuck some kids," I hit him as hard as I can in the face with it.
Oh Christ!
He kind of falls back. He's been drinking, and he jumps up, and his buddies all jump up too. And what are you doing, hey? Hey, what are you doing, pal?
I don't know. You think it's cool, fucking kids? You want to get the hell out of here before I whip you all up and down your body?
Standing there bleeding, and then with that Horst, what's going on? And he waddles over to the door and he grabs the sword down. Hey, I don't want no trouble. Starts swinging around. He's swinging around like you can tell he has no idea how to use this thing. I don't want no trouble in here. You hired help. Get out of here.
I dropped my bone saw.
These are my guests of honor. And he starts like waving the sword around.
Here is the pedonormativity, but I guess that's fine.
Yeah. So they go, hey, leave. We don't want no trouble. Get that sword out of our face, and they make their way out. They leave after the little brush up, and
yeah, you better run. I scared him off. Don't worry, guys.
Horst was like, what
ferocious warrior.
What happened? Why do they all of a sudden?
If I told you why I hit that man in the face, I'd have to do it to you as well. So I'm going to use my Fifth Amendment right to not do that.
Horst, answer me this. Why does the town need to hire migrant work this way?
Oh, there's not enough people living here come harvest time. I'm sure you saw the massive fields surrounding the village. That really, it's the hemp trade which keeps us in business. So we do need help every harvest to bring in the crops.
So these
I do enjoy my hemp.
Wait, man, those were all hemp fields out there?
They were hemp fields.
Man, I gotta go back out there. I'll catch you guys later.
What? Sorry, what did you ask, Sandow?
I asked if all these fields, these are all Maximilian's fields.
They are Max's fields. Now you get a good idea of his wealth. And Horst just kind of shakes it. Max is a great man. He is going to do great things for this village now that things have picked up, and he's found a wife. He will be happy like me.
How long has Maximilian's family been here?
They have been here for ages. Did you see the big house over in the corner? That's their mansion. His family, those fields have been handed down generation after generation.
Hey, man, trickle-down economics doesn't work, man.
How old does Horst look?
Horst looks... that's a good question.
Older than Maximilian?
We better see that picture again.
They're roughly the same age, I want to say. Horst looks like he's in his early to mid 40s, whereas Maximilian was in his late 40s. So they're not that far off in age. You would.
Do you know Maximilian's father or his mother?
I knew both of them.
Oh, and was their family? Which side of the family did the money come from, if I might be so bold?
The money? Well, it came from his father's side.
Oh, the father's side. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Well, I know Maximilian him and his bride are expecting now as well, and I pray for them to have a son to inherit the wealth as well, just like Maximilian did from his father.
Oh, so his father's passed on.
Yes, both sadly his father and mother have passed on. His wretch of a sister has come back to the village and lives in the house with them, though, unfortunately. That's the only other family that Max has here.
And did Max's father pass during the problem with the orcs?
No, thank goodness he passed. Thank the God Emperor he passed before said events.
Okay, just continue with a bit of small talk. Just trying to get the lay of the land, figure out where the money came from.
Right.
While we're getting the lay of the land, I'm going to ask about this hemp. Is there anywhere we could get some medical hemp?
Some medical grade hemp?
I mean, I normally use ale to numb the pain, but I want something else to get me through this semi-charm kind of life.
Oh no, baby. Yes, Korst. He goes, well, I'm sure Maximilian could help you with that in the morning.
Maximilian, got it. I will remember that. You know, for medical purposes, I'm a doctor.
Yes. Oh, you are? Oh, it's nice to have a doctor passing through the village.
Yeah, if you have any problems, I am happy to help amputate any problems.
For sure. I'm gonna go back to my business here. Unless you guys have anything else you're curious about?
No, one last question.
Sure, yes.
Would you mind later this evening if I were to entertain your crowd?
No, you're an entertainer. Yes, no, that would be fine. Just please don't cause any trouble again, like you did a moment ago.
Again?
Oh no, that was completely on them. I have no idea what set them off.
Yeah, that was entirely on them.
Yes, no, please feel free to perform for us. And he goes back to serving people and cleaning mugs and things like that.
And I proclaim that I offer free mole removals for the entire night.
Free mole removals all around! Yay! Nobody really...
First round on me.
Nobody really reacts to your offer.
I can only do so much. I can offer them the path, but I can't make them go down it.
As you brandish your bone saw in the air. Free mole removals for everyone! Yes. What else would you like to do on this evening in the village of Vorburg?
I mean, I'm gonna do the same thing I do every evening and just black out drunk and then wake up in the morning to find someone tell me that I was hired for a job.
So often happens that way. So in the last village, I took some time learning their local stories as part of the entertainment there.
Yes.
And so a lot of the brides here come from that town. So
yes,
I'm going to spend some part of the night relaying some of the stories that I heard from the other town, see who comes forward, wants to talk about the town, that sort of thing, if anyone.
Talk about Swansea or this town?
Yes, Swansea.
Swansea, the town you came from.
Right. I'm thinking that some of these newly minted brides here might be missing their homes and might be a little bit more free to chat once some memories of home come to mind.
Yeah, I like it. I likes it. Let me look at your character sheet. What do we got? Is there an entertain skill?
Not really. I've been using like charm because charm is for a crowd.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Rumor could be done that way too.
Yeah. Make me a routine charm. That's fine.
Okay.
Do I want to click this link in the chat while we're streaming? I'm scared. That Seth posted.
Live dangerously, man.
I don't know.
Do I? Oh yeah. Do I get my modifier for being of a higher social class than the people in the room?
Yes.
Oh, keep rubbing it in.
Wow, even with an 82. Yeah, you get up there and you perform and you start telling tales of Swansea and days gone by and speaking of folklore and traditions. And Lizette eventually steps forward. She goes, "Oh, that was beautiful. It reminds me of my hometown and everything. I sure do miss it. I forget about Swansea since I've been here for the last few years."
Well, sit and how did you become married to the good bartender here? We know Maximilian's story. We just came from his wedding.
Well, Horst came to the village seeking a bride, and tales of his heroics spread while he was there, and I was just so taken by his bravery.
And kind of in a lower voice, kind of meant for just her, and says, "Oh, we're the suitors in Swansea. Not as appealing."
Well,
Maximilian offered a very large bride price for his.
Well, she lowers her tone as well. She goes, "Well, Horst, on top of being a hero, he also has this very well performing tavern that he owns. He makes some good money here."
So it's been a good life since you've been here. What, these last
couple years? Yes, it's been a very good life being married to Horst.
Does he ever speak of his lost wife and the troubles that happened around that?
He doesn't bring it up too much. If he does, he just regales everyone with the tales of his heroics during that fateful day.
Oh, so he hasn't let the sadness of losing his prior wife interfere with your lives together. He is a good man. But living in his home and under his roof, surely you have seen some mementos of his past wife. Surely such a good man would have loved her as much.
Yes. Oh, yes. And she's in agreement. She's not picking up on your. He is right. A good man. He treats me well.
Okay, so I'm not really picking up that she is trying to wax over
some
inconsistencies.
That she seems very taken with her husband. Okay. And she seems quite happy with where she's at.
Yeah, that's just kind of where I was going with it, is trying to make her think about some things that are consistent. Right?
Gotcha.
Can I whisper to Sandow, like, should we tell her that her husband is engaging in stolen valor?
Oh no,
valor.
I will shake my head. No. She seems to be quite taken with her husband. There's no reason to tarnish that for something so petty. Every man boasts. Let him have his boast.
If you believe that he is of relatively quality character, I will not tear down the facade of his previous life.
Well, his new wife, as young as she seems to be quite happy, and she found it was of her free choice, apparently. He was a much better prospect than the young men in her village. Let's not hold his character against her.
I hope he doesn't hold his character against her.
Oh.
I'm literally here all week.
All right.
That was my attempt to try and weasel something out that might have been not so in the public.
Right. She goes, "Well, you could always ask around. There's the grieving widow, Enid. I'm sure you could maybe approach her and ask her."
Much like these tales that I have sung for you this night, I make my bread and butter by learning the stories of other people and spreading them from town to town. So it is part of my. You don't think that you will take it as too forward of a notion if I were to ask into these things. I mean, it is somewhat prying into a person's personal space, but it is for stories and songs that will live on.
No, she's kind of taken aback with your demeanor and the way you handle yourself. You're a much higher class than her, and you can tell that she does not want to. The way she handles herself when you speak to her, she doesn't want to, offend you or anything. So she just nods. "Oh yeah, no, don't worry. You are a wonderful entertainer, the best we've seen in a long time."
All right. Well, yeah. I'll thank her for the respite, go back to doing a little performing, and I'll look out to see if the person she was talking about shows. Not likely, but
If she's there?
Yes.
No, it was mentioned previously that the grieving widow would probably be at the shrine to the God Emperor. The church, the local church.
Right. Something probably best checked in the morning then, seeing as the retinue is probably blind drunk by now.
Yes, and we're also coming up at the end of our session. They're blind drunk, and we're at the 2-minute warning. So we could leave off there in this weird, crazy, horrible town.
This place is truly miserable.
I've had better ale.
Yeah.
When you say that, do you crack a smile to be in such a place of abject misery? It's just like home, isn't it?
Well, I mean, Blort is both melancholy and compassionate. So, like, I kind of focus on the darker, like, sadder things that wander through my real-life drunken mind. But I think at the same time, he also has, like, a base understanding of human emotions and understands that the people here are, like, suffering and not having a good time because a horrible, horrible thing happened to them. So, like...
So you connect to him better.
Maybe not connect to him better, but, like, I'm not just, like, excited that this place is a shithole, you know?
All right.
He's already started slapping people around.
He's offended that people are as miserable as he is.
Not quite. I'm offended that these people have so easily accepted such a horrible existence.
Well, that's kind of the setting.
Grim and perilous.
It's how well it's based right. It's a retro clone of Warhammer, but how is Warhammer described? It's D&D covered in mud, blood, and shit, and that's what we're playing.
Go us.
Terrible place. But that brings us to the end of our session. So we'll come back next week with the next part. I don't think Steven's going to join us, unfortunately. He can't make it.
Probably not. I'll try to, but I doubt it.
We'll be a man
Only
down.
one with the capacity to heal.
Drink enough for me.
I will do my best.
There you go.
Cool.
I can do some emergency healing, so hopefully
You have
we
two
won't be
healers.
ass out.
I mean,
Yeah.
to be fair, I couldn't really heal. I could only amputate.
We call that reverse healing.
That's
Like
right.
necromancy.
Exactly. So, good night to everybody who tuned in and watched us. Thank you for joining us. We will be back next week with some more Zweihander and the Notorious DMG.
Thank you, Matt, for putting together that amazing little family trees so that we can make sense of.
Well,
we
I'm
had
gonna.
That was very helpful.
I
That
have
was
to
excellent.
add some more faces and names to this for next week because we have some more players in the game.
Yeah.
And also, thank you for putting up with us and our third eye blind references.
It's all right. It's all right.
If you
I
don't
liked
want to
it.
see us again, I would get it.
I liked it.
You would understand?
My
Yeah,
friend.
I was trying not to be so ham-fisted, but yeah.
You are the only hero in the group, Matt.
Well, thanks.
I firmly agree. I just feel like we're a group of grifters and malcontents. Like,
Well, that's in line with the setting. It's all good.
Yeah.
You should see the weirdos in the other group that we ran.
well, this has been an absolute blast. I'm going to go drink water. You gentlemen have a wonderful evening. And
You
thank
too.
you for everybody who got
I'm gonna end.
Good night, man. Thanks
this
for running.